Hello again. One of the things which we have all noticed in the last few years is that the concept of diversity is now spoken of as though nobody could possibly doubt that it is something to be vigorously pursued. No justification is needed for aiming at diversity, and every company and public body in Britain now parrots the same phrase about wishing to reflect the community which they serve by being as diverse as possible. What actually does this mean? After all, the community contains many feeble people, as well as those who are stupid or wicked. Does this mean that if your police force wish to reflect the community it serves, that it should aim to contain a certain percentage of wicked people? I'm going to come back to that point shortly. I mean, it doesn't sound right. What about universities which claim that they wish their staff to reflect the community they serve? Are they saying that there should be a quota for stupid people to become members of the teaching staff at Oxford University? Again, I'll return to that point in a short while. When a famous orchestra assures us it wants its members to reflect the community, does that mean that a certain proportion of the musicians they recruit should be tone deaf? I dare say that some viewers are shaking their heads at this point and muttering, of course it means nothing of the kind. Well, we'll see. What is meant by the phrase then? The BBC have what they call the 50-20-12 strategy, and this gives us a good idea of what progressive people generally have in mind. The aim is to have 50% of their staff as women, 20% belonging to ethnic minorities, and 12% of them disabled. This is set out as a fine goal, but nobody bothers to tell us what the advantages of such an arrangement would be. After all, women and men often prefer different kinds of jobs. There is nothing at all to prevent women applying to work emptying dustbins in the morning, and there are many of them physically capable of such work. Few wish to do it though. I've seen one or two, but it's very rare. Do any viewers think that councils should try to make sure that half the people on the bins are women? No? Why not? Why is that job different from working at the BBC? What about being in the mountain rescue or working as a professor at a university? Should 12% of such jobs be given to disabled people? Would it be a good or even sensible aim to do the same as the BBC are doing? If not, why not? What I find slightly disturbing is that nobody today feels able even to ask such questions. The very words diversity and inclusion now have the effect of stifling conversation and criticism, because those who are not sure how sound the ideology behind it all is don't wish to sound racist, sexist, or as though they have a prejudice against disabled people. Should Premier League football teams try to reflect the community they serve, like the BBC, and aim to ensure that 12% of their players are disabled? If not, why not? I'm very much opposed to any sort of prejudice acting against women, disabled people or ethnic minorities, but that's an entirely different thing from saying that we should take active steps to rig recruitment procedures and the criteria for jobs so that we give preference to any of these characters. If we really want diversity, then what about lazy and dishonest people? Should we discriminate against them? There's plenty of them in the community. Would it be right to exclude them? This sounds really funny, of course, but what many viewers might not realise is that there is actually a debate going on about this in some quarters, with very right-on people arguing that criminals should not be excluded, even from jobs where honesty is absolutely vital as a prerequisite. A report issued a couple of weeks ago revealed that in the last 2 years, London's Metropolitan Police has recruited over 100 people with criminal records. This is something which was absolutely prohibited at one time, but it is felt that a blanket ban was too harsh for criminals who might wish to become police officers. What sort of offences are we talking about which were overlooked in the quest for diversity? They included handling stolen goods, drink driving, possession of controlled drugs, assault and theft. I realise that this sounds as though I've made it up, so in the description to this video I give a link to a news item about this. Seriously, to make sure that the police are diverse and reflect the community, they really are employing thieves. I dare say that viewers can come up with instances of their own about how far diversity should go and about the wisdom of ensuring that your staff reflect the community you serve. It's one thing to discourage prejudice, I'm all in favour of that, but deliberately going out of your way to engineer diversity and to include as many different categories as you can in the process is fraught with hazard. I've spoken before about the University of Birmingham Medical School, which deliberately lowered the grades required at A-level because they were worried that these discriminated in favour of clever people who wanted to become doctors. Again, I'm not making this up. They really wanted to have less educated students studying to be doctors. The results were catastrophic, but the policy has not yet been abandoned because diversity and inclusion trump common sense these days.